Good morning, brothers and sisters. Happy Sabbath day. Welcome to another episode of Did You Know, where I ask a question of a specific topic and I answer through the scriptures. So, did you know that God don't hear the prayers of a willful sinner? If you did know, I'm going to show you through the scriptures. Okay, so we're going to start this off in James, the second chapter. Because like I said, God don't hear the prayers of a willful sinner. And if we out here sinning just willfully, doing contrary to the word of God, He not gonna hear you. He not gonna hear you in a time of trouble. And I'm gonna show you that he gonna be the one that bring that trouble upon you if you willfully sin it. We're gonna start this off in James, the second chapter, because we're gonna find out what sin is first. James chapter 2, and I'm gonna start reading at verse 8. It says, if you fulfill the royal law according to the scripture, thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself, ye do well. So he's talking about fulfilling the royal law. If you fulfill the royal law, you do well. Let's see what this royal law is. Let's skip down to verse 10. For whosoever shall keep the whole law and yet offend in one point, he is guilty of all. For he that said, do not commit adultery, said also, do not kill. Now, if thou commit no adultery, yet if thou kill, thou art become a transgressor of the law. Also, adultery and commit adultery, thou shalt not commit adultery, and thou shalt not kill, those are part of the Ten Commandments. So that's what the royal law is, the Ten Commandments. So he said, if you offend in one of them, if you commit adultery, and this is willful sinning now, because these are acts that you got to put some thought into, committing adultery, murder, So this is willfully doing these things, and I'm going to show you. He said, you broken up. He said, thou become a transgressor of the law, because if you commit one of these, you've broken them all. And he said, you have become a transgressor of the law. Let's see what that's called, transgressing the law. Let's go to 1 John, the 3rd chapter. Okay, 1 John, 3rd chapter, and I'm going to read one verse, verse 4. It says, whosoever committeth sin transgresseth also the law. For sin is the transgression of the law. So that's what, if you transgress the law, you're sinning. And what's the law that you got to transgress? The royal law, the Ten Commandments, because all the laws and statutes and judgments is built up on them Ten Commandments. So if you transgress the law, that means you sin. So if you breaking the commandments, that's sinning, but you got to be willfully doing this for God not to hear your prayers. And I'm going to show you that. Let's look at what willful sinning is. Let's turn right over to Hebrews, the 10th chapter. Because willful sinning is what, he ain't finna hear you no more. If you continue on in the willful sinning, especially after you hear some truth and some knowledge of the truth, and you continue on in it, you willfully doing it, and the Lord ain't going to hear you. And he going to bring some evil and some drama upon you, and you could best believe you're going to really call out for him then. And I'm going to show you who ain't going to hear you. Willful sin, Hebrews the 10th chapter, we're going to start reading at verse 26. It says, for if we sin willfully, after that we have received the knowledge of the truth, there remaineth no more sacrifices for sin, but a certain fearful looking for of judgment and fiery indignation, which shall devour the adversaries. Look what the Lord said. He said, if we sin willfully, after we have received the knowledge of the truth. Now, it don't matter how you received the knowledge of that truth or who you received the knowledge of that truth from, because you can receive the knowledge of the truth. You can hear some truth from somebody that don't know they give you some truth. The Lord going to send it, work it however he going to work it. And you can find out something, getting that acknowledgement of truth, and you continue doing what you're doing, you willfully sinning now. So he said a willful sin is after that we have received the knowledge of the truth, there remaineth no more sacrifice of sin, but a fearful looking to of judgment, fiery indignation, which the lake of fire. So willfully sinning after you receive the knowledge of the truth. Now, you may have been, committing adultery with somebody and doing it in ignorance, because that can happen. It can happen. You may have hooked up with somebody, a sister or brother, and you didn't know they was married. They didn't tell you that they was married. And you commit adultery, but you're doing it in ignorance. But once somebody come along with the knowledge of the truth, girl, you didn't know that man was married, or bro, you didn't know she was married. Now you got the knowledge of the truth. So are you going to continue on seeing this sister or this brother? Or you cut that thing off. Why you didn't tell me you was married? Because it's wrong. Everybody know it's wrong. We know adultery. It's in our minds. The Lord said he's going to put it there. So that's willful sin. If you continue that thing on and continue doing it, oh, I love you so much, you willfully sinning now. And I'm going to show you what the Lord going to say, because like I said, these things are things that come from within, you got to think about these things and do it. So you can't do it by accident, because adultery is adultery. And when you know you commit adultery or messed around with somebody else, that's why you sneak and do it. Let's go to Mark. Let's turn right over to Mark, the 7th chapter. Willful sinning. And I'm going to show you the Lord said he ain't finna hear you. If you're going to willfully do wrong, he ain't finna hear you. And this is somebody that, because we got to understand this ain't just somebody who know the truth. This everybody. Everybody. We got to seek out righteousness and do righteousness. We can do right by not knowing the true word of God. Righteousness is your works and what you do and how you treat people. That's considered righteousness. How you treat people, treat people the way you want to be treated. The fruits of the Spirit. You could work those. People are working those. And I'm going to show you the Lord hear them people. Mark, the 7th chapter. Mark chapter 7, I'm going to start reading at verse 20. Mark 7 and 20. It says, and he said, that which cometh out of the man, that defileth the man. For from within, out of the heart of men, proceed evil thoughts, adulteries, fornications, murder. Now look at what Jesus said. He said, that cometh out of the man, that defileth him. What comes out of you, because you got to think about these things, because they start right here. And look what he said. For from within, out of the heart of men, proceed evil thoughts, adulteries, fornications, murders, thefts, covetousness, wickedness, deceit, lasciviousness, an evil eye, blasphemy, pride, foolishness. All these evil things come from within and defile the man. Look what the Lord said. All these evil things come from within. All these things right here, all these evil things, that's willful sin. That's sin. And when you're doing it willfully when you find out the knowledge of the truth of it. And we all know that, because look what he named. Evil thoughts, adulteries, fornications, murders. These ain't something that you don't stop and, you just stumble into, No, these are things you got to think about. Willfully doing them. Evil thoughts. He said wickedness and deceit and lasciviousness to deceive somebody. You got to think about that, man. This willfully doing. And then if somebody come along and say, hey, bro, that ain't right. Or hey, sister, that ain't right. You're going to continue to do it. You willfully sinning against God. Let's go to Jeremiah 11th chapter, because these are the thoughts, like I said, that come in your mind, your imagination. Let me show you what the Lord called this. Let's go to Jeremiah 11th chapter, because this is where evilness comes from. And if you do these things and you willfully doing these things, continue to willfully do them, the Lord said you wicked, you evil. It's wickedness. Look at this. We on Jeremiah 11, and we going to start reading at verse 8. It says, yet they obeyed not, nor inclined their ear, but walked everyone in the imagination of their evil heart. And that's what we doing right now today. The Lord talking to Israel, but we still doing that right now today, and not just Israel, but the world. He said, they obeyed not, nor inclined their ear, but walked everyone in the imagination of their evil heart. Therefore, I will bring upon them all the words of this covenant, which I commanded them to do, but they did them not. So he said that he's going to bring up on them the words of that covenant. I'm going to show you what that is he's going to bring up on them. But he said, but they walked in the imagination of everyone in his own evil mind. And those are the things that we just read in Mark, the adulteries and murders and fornications and idolatries and all these other things, wicked imaginations of mind, and you just doing them. Willfully doing them. Look what he said he's going to do. Verse 11. Therefore, thus saith the Lord, behold, I will bring evil upon them, which they shall not be able to escape. And though they shall cry unto me, I will not hearken unto the Lord. See, I'm going to bring evil upon them. I'm going to bring evil upon them. So when them evil things start befalling people, and, especially with people that's, and I'm not going to say just outright wicked, but people that they're not trying to do right. Righteousness, know they'll beat somebody out in a heartbeat. Lie at the drop of a dime and don't have to. People like that'll pick your pocket with the quickness and then get mad if somebody takes something from them. People like that. So this is what he said. He said he's going to bring evil upon them. And he said that when they do bring upon them, he said they're going to cry out to him. He said, I'm not going to hear them. I'm not going to hearken unto them. Look what else he said he was going to do. Verse 14. Therefore, pray not thou for this people, neither lift up a cry or prayer for them, for I will not hear them in the time that they cry unto me for their trouble. The Lord said, don't pray for them. Don't pray for them. Because you know they doing wrong. He said he bringing that evil upon them. And that's something we got to remember, sisters and brothers. Like I said, this is for everybody. Whether you is walking in the truth or not, this is for everybody. And when that evil fall upon them, we got to remember we can't be praying for everybody. First thing they want to say, Lord, have mercy. Pray for me. Man, I done fall in these hard times. Since it fell upon me. Man, this thing that hit me, man. That's that Lord dropping the evil upon them. And he said he not going to hit them. And he said, don't pray for them. And he said, neither lift up cry nor prayer for them, for I will not hear them in the time that they cry unto me for their trouble. He ain't going to hear them. Let's go to St. John. He said, don't pray for them. Let me show you. And Jesus going to even let it be known that he not going to pray for them. Let's go to St. John, the 17th chapter. Jesus let it even be known. I don't pray for them. I don't pray for the world. Those that's going to willfully sin against God. Follow the wicked imagination of their own heart. He ain't finna hear you. St. John, the 17th chapter, and I'm going to start reading at verse 8. St. John 17 and 8. He said, now they have known, verse 8. For I have given unto them the words which thou gavest me, and they have received them, and have known surely that I came out from thee, and they have believed that thou didst send me. So this is Jesus praying to the Father. And he prayed to them about his disciples and those that believed on the Lord that the Father sent and gave him, and they believed him. They believed that he the one that was sent. Look what he said, verse 9. He said, I pray for them. I pray not for the world, but for them which thou hast given me, for they are thine. He said, the Lord said, I pray for them, Father, but I don't pray for the world. Why? Because the world don't believe like these do. The world don't believe in me. I told the world that the seventh day was my Sabbath day, but they want to do it on the first day. The world don't believe. He said, so I'm not praying for them, and then they're going to willfully do it because, like he said, the knowledge of that truth is going to come along. And when you hear that knowledge of the truth, hey, man, God's Sabbath day is Saturday, it ain't Sunday. What you mean? Well, let me show you. Exodus, the 20th chapter said, the Lord hallowed the Sabbath day and blessed that day, and that's the Sabbath day. The Lord's Sabbath day don't work, don't do this, Well, that's the Jews' Sabbath day. The Christian Sabbath day is Sunday. They'll give you this, and I'm going to show you what the Lord going to call it, but that's what they do. You done heard the knowledge of the truth, and now you're going to continue to go to church on Sunday. You willfully doing it. So the Lord said, I don't pray for them. Look what else he said. Let's get down to verse 20, because he said, I pray for them that believe. Look what else he's going to say, verse 20. He said, neither pray I for these alone, but for them also which shall believe on me through their word. And that's us today, sisters and brothers, that believe on this true word of God, that Jesus Christ was sent by the Father, believe on his name, the Father's name, He said he praying for us too, not just them, but for us that believe through their word. Those that believe through their word, if you believe, you ain't going to willfully sin against God. Oh, you going to fall, sisters and brothers, don't get me wrong. And you may even fall to the point where you get into that willful sin and get stuck. Hey, man, the Lord going to drop that evil on you too, just to wake you up and get you through. But you can always get up. You can always get back up. But if you continue on in it and just continue to know, he not finna hear you. Let me show you what he said. Let's go to Proverbs, the 15th chapter. Because he said he ain't finna hear you. And he going to call your prayers an abomination if you're going to willfully sin against me after you done heard the knowledge of the truth. You're going to still do that wicked, evil thing? This is what the Lord say. Look at this. Proverbs, the 15th chapter, and I'm going to start reading at verse 8. He said, the sacrifice of the wicked is an abomination to the Lord, but the prayer of the upright is his delight. I'm going to read that again. The sacrifice of the wicked is an abomination to the Lord. What is your sacrifices? Those are your prayers, your offerings. He said the sacrifice of the wicked is an abomination to him, but the prayer of the upright is his delight. Who are the upright? Those that don't believe in him and do what he said. Keep his commandments. Don't willfully sin, Do righteousness. Follow out the righteousness, because even if you got those that's not fully keeping the commandments, don't understand how to do it the way, like I said, walking in the truth. Well, I'm going to put it like this, that have that understanding how to get salvation, truly get salvation. But they still trying to do the right thing. They walking in righteousness to the best of their ability because they trying to do the right thing. You got, like you said, that's just to give you the shirt off her back. She go to church every Sunday though. So they walking in that ignorance and they walking in ignorance, but 9 times out of 10 when you run into them people, because he said those are people that they seek righteousness, and you drop some word on them, they really attentive to it. What you say? Really? But tell me some more about that. They want to know. Because they seeking that right thing, and I'm going to show you that. Let me keep going. Okay, verse 9. He said, the way of the wicked is an abomination unto the Lord, but he loveth him that followeth out the righteousness. He said he loveth him that followeth out the righteousness, whoever that him may be, or her. But he said the way of the wicked, they works, is an abomination to him. Let's go to the first chapter of Proverbs. Let's flip back over to the first chapter of Proverbs. Because he said the sacrifice of the wicked is an abomination unto him. Proverbs chapter 1. And I got to stop getting caught up in that because I get excited because this word is true and I love this word. And I love sharing this word with you sisters and brothers. So this thing get me kind of excited and I get to going. Excuse me. Proverbs, the first chapter. And I'm going to start reading at verse 24. Look what the Lord going to say now. Let's just pay attention to this, sisters and brothers. Proverbs 1 and verse 24. He says, because I have called ye, and he said, because I have called and ye refused. I have stretched out my hand and no man regarded. But ye have set at naught all my counsel and would none of my reproofs. This is the Lord talking. He said he called, but ye refuse. You don't want to answer. You don't want to hear him. He said, I have stretched out my hand and no man hath regarded. But ye have set at naught all my counsel and would none of my reproof. You ain't trying to hear my word. And when the knowledge of the truth come along, which is going to reprove you, it reproves everybody because we all, like I said in the beginning, are sinners. So it reproves everybody, but you don't want to hear that reproof. You can't be reproved. Look what the Lord said he going to do. Look at this, verse 26. He said, I also will laugh at your calamity. I will mock when your fear cometh. When your fear cometh as desolation and your destruction cometh as a whirlwind, when distress and anguish cometh upon you. The Lord said, when that evil that he going to send fall on you, and you going to call out to him, he ain't going to hear you, he said he going to laugh at your calamity. Why? Because you refuse to hear him. He tried to reprove you. He tried to bring you into this thing so you could learn how to get salvation. Stop willfully sinning against him. Stop sinning against him, period. And learn how to get salvation. He tried to give you that reproof. You ain't want to hear it, though. He said he going to laugh when that evil come upon you. And that's why he said, don't you even pray for them. Because he the one bringing that evil upon them. And you going to pray for them. Hey, my Lord said he ain't going to hear them. What makes you think he going to hear you? You going to wind up getting yourself in some trouble. Because you so, it ain't nothing wrong with being that kind, but you got to be wise about what you do. Everybody that say, oh, little Pookie done stuck up somebody else and they called him, he might do serious time. Pray for him, would you? Pray for my baby. No, your baby you ain't say, yeah, I'm going to pray for him. No, because the Lord bringing that evil up on Pookie now. He said, don't pray for him. Jesus said he don't pray for him. So it's not being mean or cruel or none. It's not being none of that. You can't pray for the wicked because the Lord ain't finna hear their prayers, Don't pray for him. He said, don't pray for him. Look at what this said. He said, when your fear comes on, he going to laugh. Verse 28, then shall they call upon me, but I will not answer. They shall seek me early, but they shall not find me, for that they hated knowledge and did not choose to fear the Lord. The Lord said, when you call upon him, he ain't going to hear you. I'm not going to answer. That's why I say he said don't pray for him. He not going to pray for him because he ain't going to hear him. He said, they shall seek me early, but they shall not find me. And the Lord knows that's how everybody is. The first two people they call when they get in trouble, especially in some deep trouble, it's the Lord and mama. Oh, Lord, help me. Oh, mama. The Lord said he ain't going to hear you. I'm not going to hear you. He said, because you hated knowledge and did not choose to fear the Lord. Verse 33. But whoso hearken unto me shall dwell safely and shall be quiet from fear of evil. He said, but if you listen to me, if you listen to that reproof when it comes to you, you've been trying to walk right, you've been trying to do right, you've been struggling, and that reproof comes to you, that true word, like he said, the knowledge, the truth, the knowledge of the truth come to you. Hey man, he said, if you listen and hearken and start working towards that salvation, hey man, he said you will dwell safely and shall be quiet from fear of evil. Let's go to 1 Peter, the 3rd chapter. This is how the Lord feel about those that seek righteousness and those that's going to willfully sin against him. 1 Peter, and we got to understand that and realize that, sister, because like I said, this for everybody, those that's walking in this truth and those that's not, because you got a lot of people walking in this truth that's willfully sinning, that know they out there fornicating because they ain't legally married, that know they out there doing this, these things they doing bogusly, against the commandments of God, knowing they didn't receive the truth of the knowledge. And I'm just saying, I'm just being real. This is for everybody. If you want to get salvation, because that's what the Lord going to guide you to. Hey, man, you got to want to walk in righteousness. You got to seek righteousness. You got to want to be righteous. And not according to the world, because if you continue to do the right thing, we all know right from wrong, serious right from wrong, we know. Every time you tell a lie, you probably think to yourself, damn, I'll tell that lie. We know. 1 Peter, I said 1 Peter, the 3rd chapter. 1 Peter chapter 3. And I'm going to start reading at verse 10. 1 Peter chapter 3, verse 10. Look at this. It said, for he that will love life and see good days, let him refrain his tongue from evil and his lips from that they speak no guile. I'm going to read that again. For he that will love life and see good days, let him refrain his tongue from evil and his lips that they speak no guile. This is for those that want to love life and see good days. Verse 11, let him eschew evil and do good. Let him seek peace and ensue it. This is walking out, seeking after righteousness. Anybody and everybody could do this. Seek righteousness, because if you do, he going to give you that so you can learn to get salvation. Seek righteousness. He said, hate evil. We all know what evil is. It ain't got to be spelt out to us every time. We know. Look what verse 12 says. See, this is the benefit of it. Look what verse 12 says. For the eyes of the Lord are over the righteous, and his ears are open unto their prayers. But the face of the Lord is against them that do evil. He said his eyes of the Lord are over who? The righteous. Not the Israelite. Not the prophet, not the priest. He said the righteous. That's anybody. If you seeking righteousness and seeking to do the right thing, even though you may not know the truth, you may not really understand the dietary law, may not really understand the different things that those of us who've heard this word and believed, and now we seeking salvation, but you righteous, you try to walk in righteousness. Look what the Lord said. He said, for the eyes of the Lord are over the righteous, and his ears are open unto their prayers. He hear you. He hear you. And if you keep praying, he going to show you how. Let me say that again. If you keep praying and seeking righteousness, following righteousness, walking and trying to walk in righteousness, he going to show you how to get salvation. Let me show you this good example. We're going to go to the last scripture, sisters and brothers, because this is a great example. Acts, the 10th chapter. If you keep seeking and walking in that righteousness, he going to show you how to get salvation. He going to show you how to get salvation. And I love this right here, because this here this whole thing, one of them things that just blow your mind. Because this just show you how merciful and long-suffering our God is. How he wants everybody to come into this thing and get salvation, to learn how to get salvation. But you got to want to walk in righteousness. You got to walk in righteousness and seek righteousness. Want to be right. Look at this. Acts, the 10th chapter. I'm going to start reading at verse 1. There was a certain man in Caesarea called Cornelius, a centurion of the band called the Italian band, a devout man, and one that feared God with all his house, which gave much alms to the people and prayed to God always. Now look at this guy, Cornelius. He a Gentile. And I know he a Gentile because he of an Italian band. A lot of people try to say, well, Cornelius was an Israelite. No, he was a Gentile. He was white. But he was a Roman Gentile from the Italian band. But it says he was a devout man and one that feared God with all his house. He was trying to walk in righteousness. He was seeking righteousness. Look what else it said. It says, which gave much alms to the people and prayed to God always. He gave that, charity, that love, because charity ain't just, handing out food to the people. Charity is that love, that genuine love that you have for your brother. Anybody could be doing that, that charity, that love. He said he was a devout man that feared God with all his house, and he gave much alms and prayed to God always. Let's see if God heard him. Verse 3. He saw in a vision evidently about the 9th hour of the day, an angel of God coming in to him and saying unto him, Cornelius. And when he looked on him, he was afraid and said, What is it, Lord? And he said unto him, Thy prayers and thine alms are come up for a memorial before God. Boom! This is one of them boom scriptures, sisters and brothers. Wow! It said your prayers and alms have come up for a memorial before God. That's huge. For an angel to come to you and say, hey, your prayers and alms, your charity and good works and all that love you got for these Israelite people and probably all people, hey man, it's come up for a memorial before God. Look what he said what he gonna do now that it came up for a memorial to him. Look what he said. Verse 5. And now send men to Joppa and call for one Simon, whose surname is Peter. He lodgeth with one Simon, a tanner, whose house is by the seaside. He shall tell thee what thou oughtest to do. The angel told him, hey, send for Simon Peter, the Israelite, so he could tell you what you oughtest to do. Oughtest to do what? How to get salvation. That's what Peter told them. How to get salvation. He heard your prayers because you've been seeking righteousness, trying to walk right. You've been trying to glean whatever you could from the Israelites that you was around, because he said he feared God. He had to have a reason to fear God. So he had to hear something that what he said, the knowledge of the truth. Hey man, and his prayers he prayed to God always. And his prayers probably was, hey God, show me your truth. Show me you, God, your true you. Praying for them, he said, if you seek, you're going to find, seeking for that truth. He said, send for Peter. He going to tell you what you ought to do. And when he sent for Peter, Peter came. And that's the part right here that's really that huge TNT boom right here. Because let me show you what Peter said when he went there and saw these Gentiles in his house and how they came together for this word of God. What he realized at this point in time. Skip down to verse 34. Then Peter opened his mouth and said, of a truth I perceive that God is no respecter of persons, but in every nation he that feareth him and worketh righteousness is accepted with him. And like I said, that's TNT boom right there, sisters and brothers. He said, God ain't no respecter of person. And he see that in every nation he that do what? Fear God and worketh righteousness. He said he accepted with him. The Lord accepted him. He accepted your prayers. And guess what? Just like he sent Peter to Cornelius, he gonna send somebody to you. So you can learn how to get salvation now. So he can tell you what you ought to do. So, did you know that God don't hear the prayers of a sinner? If you didn't, you do now. And I thank you for your time, sisters and brothers. And once again, I attend the Israel of God Bible study, and it's located at 520 West 138th Street, Riverdale, Illinois. The phone number is 708-392-1320, and the website is www.theisraelofgod.com. And you can always go to theisraelofgod.com and check out the website, and you can check out we just had Black History pass by. You can check out all that Black History and classes every Sabbath day, which is Saturday at noon. So check it out. You get a full-blown lesson from the elder brother, Brother Bowie, and he put it down. So thank you for your time, sister brothers, and enjoy the rest of your Sabbath day. Peace.